Oh, I spy a baby turbo. On this episode, remove a battery, learn how to remove a top mount, learn how to remove an intake. Alright guys, Tyler here from Sport Motorsports. We're getting ready to do the EJ205 JDM motor swap into the WRX. So first off, we got to be able to get everything out, get everything disconnected, get it all dropped and drained. So when the motor shows up, hopefully next week, we can work on swapping over the components we need to from the US model to the Japanese model. So let's first on just start taking stuff apart, work on removing an engine from a WRX. Alright guys, first things first, I'm taking this video so I can see where all the vacuum lines and coolant lines and what I have plugged in go. Alright guys, you definitely want to make that video to know where everything is gone. You can tape off and label as well. Just make sure you know where all the plugs are going, where all the wiring is going. So first off, I'll probably raise it up here in a minute to drain all the coolant out. Work on disconnecting the battery here. Then we'll kind of go from there to see what else we need to start taking off. The intake, the top mount, some of these pieces here, some of the accessories. Someone on Instagram gave me a good tip. They said just remove the radiator, make your life easy to get the motor out. So I'll do that. So we'll go from there and see what we can find and work on taking stuff off. Somebody likes to go off-road. Look at all the sand. It's all over the frames and stuff. Large amount of sand. This Subaru has done its off-road duties. There's sand everywhere. So awesome sand job. Let's work on taking off the top mount. On some screws here, some 12mm bolts. We gotta take off this piping here that goes in front of it. Looks like there's a bracket here. So we're going to work on taking off the intercooler here, take off some of these pieces, and see what we got going on. So this hose was literally crimped off. If you can see that. The bottom one was just the same. It was so tight you can even see the flat spot in it. I don't think that's good. I don't think that was helping out anything. Try to tuck the boost hose away, vacuum hose, so I don't break it. There's a weird floppy thing under here. I don't even know what it's connected to. I don't know. Alright guys, so I loosened up this hose down here, hose clamp, these hose clamps, 10mm bolts, 12s, then 10s that hold on the vacuum line. Those just slid out pretty easy, moved to the side. I can't get that to slide over. It feels like there's bolts on the back of the top mount. So I'm feeling around for that, see if I can use a ratchet wrench to loosen all it up for me. Go from there. Well, that was only a pain. Alright, so that's what the bolts. They're kind of hard to get to on the back. The gasket's still on this one, not on this one. There's definitely oil coming out of the top mount. So that's not good, but I couldn't get this to slide over. There's a heater hose, because this should have. Still can't get it off, but I'll slide it off and remove it. And that's 12's ratchet wrench saved my life, makes it easier for sure. Well, there's oil on the top of the turbo. That may or may not be a good sign there. So we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, that's how you remove the top mount. Subaru owner's question for you. What the heck is this hose? It comes around up to here. It's just, they plugged it off. I thought it's for the blow-off valve, but this one doesn't have anything on it, so I'm not quite sure why this hose from the intake turbo inlet kind of Y hose, why that is just blocked off and zip tied shut. That's weird. What's up with that? Alright, so I'm working on taking off the intake here. It says it's the K&N Typhoon intake system. I've heard good things about it. They got the shield on it, so hopefully it's good. I'll clean and redo the filter. Work on getting the plastic and this off, and the little hoses here, and all that goody stuff. So that's how they remove the intake. An aftermarket one. A little stock one sits here, has a mount, connects into the little airways. Some of those kind of things, but nothing crazy. I think the hardest part is just moving some hoses. You got your mass airflow sensor connector, and the rest was kind of already known and pretty simple to do. So a lot of people can probably swap out their intake. Doesn't seem too hard. Their top mount, it's not too hard. It's taking only a couple minutes. I think everyone is able to do that. So removing a battery, removing a top mount, removing an intake, all simple things you guys can do on your Subaru to do maintenance and upgrade and things like that. So we're going to keep on working on taking out plugs, working on some of that stuff, and take off the covers. I'll lift it up, drain the coolant so I don't have any more spillage, and work on removing the radiator. Alright guys, as you see, I'm just working on taking on vacuum lines, connections, power. Having trouble getting that one off. the fuel section over here, the AC lines. I still haven't taken off all the coolant. Haven't drained the system yet, so when I drain it, I'll take those off. I'm just working on getting everything around it disconnected so we can work on getting it out of the car. Alright guys, so down here is the engine harness plugs that sit here. So this whole side is disconnected. There's nothing on the way over here. I got all the fuel stuff off and the vacuum lines off and the AC lines off. I got the alternator power off on that side. So everything on this side is not connected to it except back here on the starter. And I still have all the plumbing, the coolant lines. I still have the coolant lines on this side and lower AC lines. I still have the power steering, reservoir, it's connected, and all the radiator hoses. So once I get under there, see what kind of mess of wiring right there, see what needs to come off there for O2 sensors or whatever that is. Make sure there's nothing else underneath the car. But overall, that is everything removed besides coolant from the motor. So good progress for tonight, and so I'm happy about that. If you had any questions on how to get any of it off, it's all fairly self-explanatory. I'm going to have to use all the accessories and the top mount, the turbo, the reservoir, the exhaust manifold. All of it's going on to the new motor I'm getting. It's just a long block, so I'll have to swap everything over onto it. So we'll have a video of us doing that. But overall, we got most of it. I'll do a video of removing the radiator. It's fairly self-explanatory with some mounts here. I'll work on draining it, checking underneath, working on getting off the downpipe and the exhaust. Work on loosening up and taking out the transmission mount pin. There's a pin that slides up top here somewhere so that you can get into that, and it pulls out so you can disconnect the transmission from the motor. So all that will be on the next episode, but we're looking good and progress is good. Again, what the heck is this? Why is that there? And yeah, a nice baby turbo. Alright guys, again, Tyler from Sport Motorsports. I hope you enjoyed this episode. More to come throughout this week. I'm working on getting everything else off, work on getting the motor out, and then getting it all prepped for when the new motor shows up. So make sure you like and subscribe. You follow along with this build. Comment below if you need any help with anything, if you have any questions, or if you just want to say hi. I appreciate all the support. Appreciate you following along. And there's some awesome stuff coming for this build, guys. So make sure you click that subscribe button below, hit the thumbs up, and continue to follow us here on Sport Motorsports. Till next time.